What's going on, folks? I felt like this was a really good opportunity to make a new video for my channel because I have finally achieved another podium. The last time I achieved a podium in Contender was May of 2024 when I used a Zenit stack along with a Club America defense with Malagon and Lichnowsky. So it's been quite a while, and I know that D5, limited D5 is not super exciting. It's not, winning D1, it's not winning $1,000, or, it's not winning Mbappe or Holland. But you know what? It is a podium, gosh darn it. And I am pretty happy at earning my latest podium. As I said, the last time I earned one was May 2024. So it's been quite a while. So any podium, in my opinion, is a good podium. I also ran out another lineup too. Usually I only run out at most 3 or 4 lineups. I really try to focus on Contender as well as, All-Star. So this week I only ran out 2 lineups. It also depends on kind of the quality of players I can run out. If I feel like the only players I have available or can run out are garbage, sometimes I won't even throw them in a lineup. I know that's not probably the ideal. Should probably just throw them in a throwaway lineup, but that runs the risk of, you know, maybe tanking my slot that's in D1 or my slot that's in D2. So I'd rather just focus on putting out lineups that I think actually have a chance of really winning something. So my worst lineup, just take a quick look at that. I used Thomas Durso. He's actually a player I bought in order to flip initially, but I figured he had a really good matchup, so I used him. He held his own, got a clean sheet. As a result of that clean sheet, I was actually able to sell him for almost double what I paid. I think I paid about $5.50 for him before the game week. And then after the game week, after his clean sheet, I sold him for $10 on the dot, $10 flat. So I had a really, really good profit from him. I think something that I'll try to do in future videos is actually show you guys my spreadsheet, my flipping spreadsheet. I do have a lot of cards that I don't sell, that I never intend to sell or plan to sell. Cards that I think will consistently, win me rewards, like my Vissel Kobe stack. But I do also buy cards that I think might have a favorable chance to sell them for more in the future. So I've been flipping a lot of guys too. I know I keep saying that my gallery is ready to go, but the joy of flipping, the fun of flipping, is just too much, just too tempting. So I end up selling a lot of guys. I end up, for 50% more or twice what I paid, and then I buy new guys, and then I end up doing the same thing after some good performances. So even though I keep saying my gallery is set for 2025, in reality, I just can't stop flipping cards. I like buying cards. I like selling cards. It's fun for me. And so even though it's not the best for building up, experience on cards, I just find it a lot of fun. It's fun for me, and so I'm going to keep doing it because that's something that brings me joy in this game. And that's, at the end of the day, Sarah's game. And so even if I don't get all my players to 12 to 15% XP, then so be it. I also bought Lucas Martinez Cuarta. He is the new starting center back for River. He's basically replacing Paulo Diaz in the starting lineup. He has been phenomenal in his first couple of games. Both green scores. He's winning a ton of duels. He's won a lot of duels in his games and lost very few. He's been a duel winning machine in Argentina in his first couple games in Argentina. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. I may flip him down the road if his price keeps going up. His price is now over $5 for the Classic. I bought him for $2 flat. So again, I can make a really, really tidy profit off of him. But I feel like he's just going to be so good in Argentina again at River that I probably want to hold on to him for the season, or at least until I feel like he might regress to the mean or have some worse performances. So just really good player overall. I would highly recommend you guys pick him up too, because I think even at his current price, he's going to be one of the best center backs you can get in Contender for 2025. I also ran out part of my Necaxa stack. As you see, if I scroll up, I kind of split my Necaxa stack in half. And really, I just wasn't that confident in Necaxa doing that well. San Luis is at home. San Luis made the playoffs last year. They were pretty competitive against the best teams in the league. So I thought that would be a really tough matchup for them. Turns out I was flat out wrong. It was a a curb stomp by Necaxa. They should have scored 5 or 6 goals, honestly. I think Kimbindo missed something, had a big chance missed. Paradella had a big chance missed. I mean, they could have easily been like 5-0 or 6-0 for Necaxa. So anyway, I didn't think that was going to happen, so I split them up. In reality, I should have just kept them all together, would have done better, but, it is what it is. Oliver Torres was pretty disappointing. He's typically not a super high scorer, but Monterrey at home with a really good matchup against Pachuca. Pachuca hasn't been great defensively for a while, so I ran him out, and he just unfortunately wasn't part of their goals. So it kind of is what it is. But looking at my podium lineup, you can see again I have the other half of my Necaxa stack insane in goal. Pallavicino with his 100. Pallavicino might be, in my opinion, he might actually be the best midfield card in contender at the moment. Pretty much at any given moment against literally anybody in Liga MX, he has 90 to 100 potential every single game. He's showing that he probably is too good for the league, so I'm not sure what's going to happen to him down the road. But he just signed a new contract with Necaxa, so he's going to be around for at least a little while, for at least 2025. But who knows? Maybe 2026 he gets a bigger move to somewhere else outside of MX. He's getting a little on the older side. I think he's like 28 now. So if he's going to make a big move somewhere else, it probably might be after the 2025 season. I picked up Asasabar too. This is a guy who was not in my last video. Like I said, I like to buy a lot of guys. I like to flip, buy, and sell. I bought him for $2.50, despite him having an L15 over 60 points. Like, that's insane to me. I think his last card, his most recent sale, was actually like $6. So I could probably flip him for at least double what I paid in a pretty short order. So I think when I have the opportunity, I'll probably flip him. But for right now, I'm just going to ride the wave of having a good player in my gallery until his price gets to a point where I just have to pull the trigger and sell him, and then again use that profit to relive my gallery once again. Giacomakis rounds out my podium-winning lineup. He had 2 games in this game week. The first game he came off the bench because he was coming back from a lack of fitness from a nagging issue. Second game he started, scored a goal, so he was able to get me that deep green score. Again, he's not typically the kind of guy that gets great AA, but his past couple of games have been really good in terms of AA. I mean, he got 16 AA in this game. The most recent one they just played tonight, I think it was against Tijuana. I think he scored 86, and he only had one decisive. No, he had 2 decisive. Sorry. So again, another game where he had about 16 AA. So that's a little uncharacteristic for him, but I think maybe the way Cruz Azul were lining up this season, he's just getting more involved deeper down the field instead of playing that target man poacher role. I think he's getting a little more involved than he typically does, so he's earning more duels. And I think in the most recent game, he even got a double-double, so that was pretty cool. So that's something that I'm obviously in favor of. If that's that's the way Cruz Azul is gonna play him, I'm definitely in favor of that. So again, this was my first podium-winning lineup in quite a while. Let me show you some changes I've made to my gallery. Because as I've said, I just find it too fun to buy and sell and flip. So since my last video, I've picked up some more players. I picked up Franco Ibarra. Now, he's not the kind of guy who people ever talk about or think about. I mean, I think in terms of so rare, people see him as kind of irrelevant. But he has been on fire to start the season. Oops. So let me show you his scores real quick. So, first game of the season, he scored almost 35 AA, just just dominating the midfield. I think he basically plays their destroyer role. He has been winning tackles like crazy. Let me show you what I mean. His first game of the season, he won 6 tackles, 18 points from just tackles. Second game of the season, let me scroll down a little bit more. Look how many points he's getting from defending. 34 points. 7 tackles. In his first 2 games of the season, he's won, what is it? Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at math. Was it 13 tackles? Like he already has double-digit tackles won in the first 2 games of the season. He's really been dominant in that midfield for Rosario. He's kind of excelling in that destroyer role early on. So I figured for a guy who costs less than $1, I think I got it for like 90 cents. Definitely worth picking up because, as you guys know, if you've been playing Silver for a while, it is good to have some central defensive midfielders in your gallery, because even though they're not going to get on the end of a lot of decisives, you do kind of get a good floor, or he's going to score somewhere between 55 to 58 on average most games. So you're kind of hoping that he gets his floor, and then eventually once in a while he gets a decisive like he did last game that pushes him over 80, 90 points. So really good card. I think he's gonna be super underrated. His price again has gone up since I bought him by like 30 cents or so, but I can see him being maybe like a $2 card, $2.50 card pretty soon if he keeps this up. I also built a Urawa Reds stack. Now, Urawa did not have a great season last year. I think they finished 13th in the league, so not great. But they have made some big off-season acquisitions that I think are really, really going to help them this year. And I think they actually might even contend for the league this year. They used to be a team that consistently contended for like top 4, top 6. And I think this season, with the talent they brought in, should be able to do that again. Now, they brought in Takuro Kaneko. He went to Dynamo Zagreb in Europe. He was originally with Consadole Sapporo. I'm probably butchering that, so I apologize. But he went to Europe. He is now back on a long-term on a deal with Urawa. He's been really, really good in preseason. Actually, all of Urawa has been really good in preseason. That's kind of why I bought the stack. I haven't been following them super, super closely. Like, I'm not a Reds fan, but I have been following their preseason games on social media, and they've looked really, really good offensively. Kaneko has been part of the starting lineup in their preseason games, and as you guys know, one of the best ways to kind of track who should be an expected starter is just simply see who's in the starting lineup of friendlies when you're close to the start of the season, right? The season's about 2 weeks away. He's been in the starting lineup in their last couple preseason games. So I think it's pretty safe to say that he will probably start the season in the midfield. Somebody else that I picked up is Ryoma Watanabe. He's not a new guy. He's actually returning. He was on the team last year. He's not a super, super high scorer, or at least he wasn't a high scorer last year. But that's really because Urawa just did not have a lot of firepower on offense, or a really low-scoring team, more of a defensive team than offensive. But with the pickup of Kaneko, with the pickup of Mateus Savio from Kashiwa Reysol, who will now have that on the wing, I think Watanabe will have many more opportunities to get decisives than he did last year. I think a really good rule of thumb when you're building lineups for Sower, just thinking, if a guy is now going to be surrounded by a lot more talent, by guys who are a lot more offensively inclined, then he will probably score better too. He'll get more assist opportunities. He'll get more big chances created. He'll get more assists, right? Just everything about his play will probably improve because he'll be surrounded by more talent. And so I think with Savio in the wing, with Kaneko in the midfield, with Santana continuing to be up top, I think we'll be looking at a team that'll score a lot more decisives than they did last year. Ogiwara, he has also returned to Japan. He was in Europe for a bit, so he's now with Urawa as well. He is their only true left back. All the other left backs on the team have left or transferred. I think one just transferred to Europe. So he is really their only true left wing back. So I expect him to be the starter at left back. And then, of course, Nishikawa, really cheap goalie. He's getting up there in age. I think he's 38 years old now. But you can play, well into your 30s in Japan and be just fine. So I'm not worried about him. He'll be solid throughout 2025. You might be wondering, why did I not pick up Sam Gustafsson or Mateus Savio? Especially since I just talked up Savio as being a really elite player on their wing. Well, I'm kind of waiting for the 2025 cards to come out because I think their classic cards are still a bit overpriced. I think Gustafsson's around $5, Savio's around $6, and I think when the 2025 cards come out, those classic cards will probably drop maybe like a couple of bucks, and then I'll pick up Gustafsson when he drops like $3. I'll pick up Savio when he drops to like $4. And I don't think it'll take that long for that to happen. I think maybe if I wait a few weeks, into the season, those classic cards will drop a bit, and I'll be able to get a good price on those guys to further reinforce my new Urawa collection or stack. So like I said, they really haven't been great recently, not great last year, but they have a really good pedigree. They were a really elite team, top team for quite a while, just as recently as a few years ago. And so I think with these new players in Savio, Kaneko, and Ogiwara, I really am hopeful that they're going to be a dark horse for actually challenging for the title, or at least getting themselves back into an Asian Champion League spot. I really feel pretty confident about that. So that is it for this video. Like I said, next video, I'll actually show off the cards that I'm buying to flip, maybe go over my rationale for why I think I can flip them for profit in the future, and really maybe go through some of my history, my flipping history so far with the cards that I've purchased in 2025. So stay tuned for that in my next video, and I will see you all soon.